Hey guys, this is Marina from Mars Stars, and today I'm here with the weekly forecast for the week between the 5th of June and the 11th of June. So, this is going to be a very interesting week because a few planets are changing the signs. Also, we have some really positive aspects, and in general, the general atmosphere actually should change in a more positive and especially calmer direction. So let's start with Monday. As usual, here you can find the horoscope. Actually, you should watch only the aspects and the positions of the planets in the signs. Here is the table with the signs and the exact degrees. Here you can find the exact day that we are analyzing. And finally, this is the table with the aspects. So we start with the 5th of June, which is Monday. And on Monday, the transit Mars enters Cancer. Maybe it has even happened during the previous night, but it doesn't really matter. The fact is that from this day, after that, Mars is going to transit Cancer for approximately 2 months. And this is a very big shift. This is a very big shift because Mars is the planet related with our activity, with taking actions, with the ability to be brave, to take immediate decisions, and actually to start doing something concrete. Recently, Mars was in Gemini, and it might have been related with, we might have been a little bit aggressive in our communication. Everything in terms of communication might has happened, too impulsively, too quickly. But now that Mars is entering Cancer, it's it's a big shift because Mars is in a very weak position in Cancer. It is exalted in Capricorn, which means that in Cancer Mars is in a fall position. So it's a really a weak position for the planet. That's why the usual qualities related with Mars are not so strongly expressed. So it suggests that, for example, this is not a time to take, some sudden decisions, especially in order, to start achieving something. Whatever it is that you would like to start, you should be calmer. You should relax. You should try to think about it a few times before you start doing it. And usually, this is not a good time for taking risks. Mars in Cancer can be related with some kind of fears, especially, fears with our security, our stability, and that's why we may avoid taking certain risks. And it's not necessarily something bad, it just suggests that, you shouldn't be so impulsive, or if you feel that, there are some kind of fears within you, it's totally normal, actually. What else can we say for Cancer? So in general, it suggests that we should slow down a little bit. That this is the general tendency, and previously there was, a lot of dynamics. There were too many planets in fire signs. So I would say that during the past few months, it was a lot about, time to take actions. But now we are going to see that, especially from this week, the situation changes. And especially with Mars entering, the calm, the relaxed sign of Cancer, this is a time when we should really, even take a rest. Just allow ourselves to spend some time at home. On the other hand, Mars in Cancer is a good position if you need to do something related with your home or with property, like, innovate something, repair something at home. Mars in Cancer is actually supportive aspect, and doing something which is more privately, which is while you're at home or for your home. These activities can be more beneficial now that Mars is in Cancer. Okay, so in general, the main idea is to slow down a little bit. Next, actually on Tuesday, on the 6th, we have another interesting ingression. It is Venus, which enters Taurus. And this is a really big shift because Venus, was retrograde in Aries for so long. And I think it's almost, around 3 months already that Venus was most of the time in Aries. So it was really a lot about, passionate emotions, but sometimes difficult to be controlled. And, a lot of impulsive decisions in terms of relationships and even conflict, separations. We were really tested in the area of our emotions and relationships. But now Venus enters the sign that it rules. Venus rules Taurus. So it is in especially harmonious position for Venus. That's why, the best side, the best qualities of the planet can manifest in our life. And Venus in Taurus is related more about with feeling comfortable, feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling like we are being cared by others, or to take care of the person or the people that we love. So really, on an emotional level, we should start to to feel more balanced, to feel calmer. All this passion and uncontrollable emotions should slow down a little bit. We should put them under control. And actually it happens naturally. It doesn't mean that you have to do something concrete or to put efforts for it. It just happens naturally. So the area of relationships should improve. Even finances can improve because Taurus is a very materialistic sign, literally related with our resources and money. So this is also, harmonious aspect, harmonious position of Venus. And in general, try to relax, try to feel more comfortable. And this is an interesting combination because we have also a positive aspect. We have a sextile between Venus and Mars. You see that after Venus enters Taurus, it is in sextile 60 degrees orbis with Mars. And here what's important is to analyze which of the planets is stronger. And of course we said that Mars is in a fall position and Venus is in it's in the sign that it rules. So we can give Venus 6 points and Mars only 1 point. And of course Venus is much stronger. So it is really a time when we should focus more on being kind with others, being careful, being caring with others, supportive, or in general. This is a wonderful aspect for romantic relationships, and especially for women, they can feel really attractive. They can feel like their partner is taking care of them. This is an especially positive aspect for love. And especially in this case, when Venus dominates the aspect, we really should use, the energy or the means of Venus. So being kind, being careful, being supportive, polite with others, instead of what Mars is, being saying everything without thinking how it will influence the other person, or being too impulsive, or all these conflicts that used to be around us for so long. So yeah, great combination. And actually on Tuesday or Wednesday, it's on Tuesday, probably in the afternoon, Mercury enters Gemini. And it's also a very big shift because Mercury rules Gemini. So it's again a very, very positive position for the planet, which suggests that the best qualities or the best the benefits of this planet actually can manifest in our life. And Mercury is related with communicating, with being more analytical, planning things. Because recently, when we had Mercury in Taurus, Taurus is a very practical sign, but it is not an analytical sign. So this was more a time when, we had to think about some really grounded things, take care of something, and probably the intellectual process was not so supported, and everything can require more time in terms of ideas when Mercury was in Taurus. But now that Mercury is in Gemini, all these ideas, they can come too easily, without efforts. Your all kind of intellectual activities can be easier, more beneficial, more successful. Of course, for people who work in such areas which are very popular, all kind of communications, the trading sector, tourism, everything related with traveling, speaking, writing, or whatever it is, related with Gemini, all these activities now can become especially positive and successful. And don't forget that we have also the Sun in Gemini, so that's a great support, really, and a great time for all of these activities that we just mentioned. Okay, so these were the major ingressions that we have during this week. Now, just to say a few words about the moon. So on the 5th, so on Monday, the transiting moon is in Scorpio, and actually until Wednesday afternoon, the transit moon is in Scorpio. And in general, my opinion is that this is probably the toughest sign for the moon. Usually there is, some kind of tension, some kind of, emotionally we may feel a little bit, like there is some kind of problem, or, something like we can expect something bad to happen, or in general, it's difficult to feel relaxed. Especially when the moon is in Scorpio. The reason is because the moon is in a fall position in Scorpio. So the moon is exalted in Taurus, and the moon is related with our ability to feel relaxed, to feel calm, to feel safe, that somebody takes care of us. And so when the moon is very weak, and of course it can be both in your birth horoscope or just in the transit situation, when the moon is in a difficult position, it suggests that it's difficult to relax. You don't feel comfortable, you don't feel safe, there is some kind of tension, emotional. Sometimes there may not be some objective obstacles. It's just an inner condition, but it's just for for a while. It's for 2-3 days, and after that we said that with the other positive ingressions, the general tendencies are more supportive in terms of feeling relaxed, feeling calmer, and a little bit more positive. So after that, this is on Thursday, we have the moon in Sagittarius, and this is a very positive position. It's related with feeling much more optimistic, feeling much more inspired about learning something, about or receiving new information, or whatever it is that makes you feel feel optimistic and have a more positive perspective about the future, about your life in general. Of course, this is a great position for traveling. And next, on the 9th, so on Friday, we have the moon in conjunction with Saturn, and we have also a full moon. There is going to be a different video where when we are going to discuss more concrete about the full moon. So I'm going to skip that now, but you should know that Saturn will play a major role here. So Saturn is about being more disciplined, being more accurate, organized. So this is a tendency for the 2 weeks after that, after the new moon, and you know, it might be a little bit tough situation. And on Saturday and Sunday we have the moon in Capricorn, so it's really not there is not harmony between Saturday, you know, the weekend, and the moon in Capricorn, because Capricorn is about work, about obligations, about, you know, doing some stuff that might be very routine, not so, you know, happy and or joyful. And usually it's not what we are supposed, or at least not what we like to do during the weekend, but probably this weekend won't be so much about entertainment. You know, if you're planning a trip, it's not necessarily that something bad is going to happen, but you know, the general atmosphere is not so joyful. So probably if you're able to skip that, it would be better. And especially on Sunday, we have a challenging aspect between the moon and Pluto. So the conjunction between the moon and Pluto is not a harmonious aspect, and it can be related with some kind of, you know, dramatic emotions, some kind of dramatic experiences. Well, very often the topics about control and power are very, you know, well, they are active in our life, and yeah, this can lead to some kind of conflicts, or you know, again, emotionally there can be some kind of tension for us. But in general, I would say that the tendencies are very positive with the other ingressions that we have. So Mars is in a fall position, so it's about slowing down a little bit. On the other hand, Mercury and Venus are in the signs that they rule, so they're extremely strong. So I would say that we should use, you know, we should focus more on Mercury and Venus for the things that we would like to achieve. So it's not about, you know, taking risks or being too impulsive, or you know, being in such a hurry. And of course the conflicts are not beneficial, but instead we should use Mercury and Venus. So being polite with others, being kind, being more tender, being supportive, and communicating, actually having a dialogue with others, which is related with the strong Mercury. So try to understand the position of the other person, try to explain your position. You know, it's much more likely that people would be able to make compromise and to find solutions. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have some kind of comments or questions, I would be glad if you ask them. And yeah, see you next week again. Bye.